Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest journaling video. I'm going to be using a plain standard size traveller's notebook insert, which I keep inside this vintage-like cover from Start Bay Notebooks. I filmed this on Sunday morning. I felt that everything was getting a bit overwhelming with all of the news, and I just really wanted to take some time to create and write in my journal and use lots of bright, happy colours. I'm starting off by using 2 different strips of washi tape, and these rolls are both from London Gifties. As always, I will try and leave links to everything that I use in the description box down below. It's such a funny kind of time at the moment, I think, for nearly everybody, and I decided I wanted to focus these journal pages on gratitude. So thinking about and writing down the things that I'm still really grateful for to have in my life. I was thinking about the fact that we have technology to still be able to stay in touch with each other. And also I've started to see some really nice things happening in our community where people are going out of their way to support each other. So rather than concentrating on all of the scary news and everything I'm hearing, I thought it would be nice just to focus on those really good things. So I started off by getting out all of my supplies that were in the brightest colours I could possibly find to make sure that my journal pages looked nice and bright and cheerful. I'm now going to use this vintage alphabet stamp set, and I'm going to stamp out the words March using different coloured inks. And I bought this stamp set ages ago from an Etsy seller that no longer exists. And I found something similar on Amazon, which I will link down below, but I know that other people have found this stamp set on, I believe, AliExpress and possibly Wish. And the little ink pots that I'm using are from London Gifties. I think I'll be using my journal a lot over the coming weeks and months to really help me try and keep things in perspective and stay grounded. And I certainly use them to write down the different things that are going on at the moment, but I also really like to try and kind of change my mood around and shift my perspective. Now that I've finished stamping the heading out, I'm going to have a look through this pack of vintage papers and tear out some of the ones that I'd like to use. So I'm going for a combination of different colours and also some with typed text on. When I was going through my supplies, I found this old Tonic Studios punch. I used to use it when I was creating greeting cards, and you can use it to create a lovely floral border. Now, this piece of paper is quite thin and delicate, so it was a little tricky to do, but I really liked the final look. One of the lovely things that happened in the last couple of days is that a neighbour put a note through everybody's door on our road offering to run errands and pick up food and medicine for anybody that's struggling with being able to leave the house. And I just thought it's so nice when you start to see those positive things happening within the community. And I wondered if there's been anything similar happening wherever you are. I do think that obviously on the news you see lots of the panic buying and stockpiling, so it's really nice when you experience something actually a little bit more positive. I'm now having a quick play around with those papers, just trying to decide where it is I want to place them. So I've used the pencil to mark the bottom right hand corner of the bottom sheet, and I'm then using some Pritt stick to glue it onto my page. And I'm tearing the edges of each of the pieces of paper so that they have those lovely rough edges. And I wanted to make sure that the punched areas of the brown paper are over the top of the white background so that they really stand out. And this one is a bit more difficult to glue down. It's a waxy kind of paper, but I think in the end it did hold down quite well. Next, I'm going to pick a couple of these stamps from London Gifties and use a black archival ink to stamp them onto my page. And I wanted to make sure that the ink was smudge proof because I'm going to be adding some watercolour over the top of them. I found it so relaxing creating these pages. There's something about adding all of those different creative elements that really takes your mind into a completely different place. So I'm so thankful to have some different supplies in my journals to be able to lose myself in at home. Now that the stamping is done, I'm going to use these watercolours from London Gifties, and the brushes I'm using are from Skoda. And I'm going to create some really whimsical kinds of flowers in really lovely bright colours. And I'm also going to add those same colours to the stamped images at the bottom right of my page. And I've used a nice light pink for that flower, and whilst the paint is still wet, I'm going to add a deeper colour right into the centre of the flower and just let it bloom outwards. And this is one of my favourite ways to create flowers because you don't have to do anything precise. You can just create some lovely wavy kind of shapes, and I will later go in and add some details using a black pen. For this flower, I've just painted a circle, and I'm then using another brush to just drag the paint out to give it a kind of fluffy appearance. And again, I will use those paints in the bottom right hand corner, and I've just added an orange to the centre of that flower. If you've got some watercolour paints at home and you're looking for some new ways to use them over the next few weeks, I can highly recommend the YouTube channel of Creation CC, and I will leave her channel link down below. She's got so many lovely ideas which are suitable for all levels, and it's something that I like to sit and follow along with, either in my journals or my sketchbooks. For my final flowers, I'm using a deep purple paint, and I'm just creating some blobs in different sizes to create a little cluster. And again, I'm just adding that same colour onto the stamped images. And I think it's just giving it a really kind of bright and playful feel to my journal pages. And finally, I'm mixing up a light green paint, and I'm going to use that for the stems and leaves of my flowers. And I'm just dragging that paint up my page and using the brush to create some really loose leaves. Again, I'm not worried about anything perfect here. It's just about having some fun creating and just experimenting in my journal. I'm holding my brush at quite a funny angle, and it's because I'm trying not to smudge the paint that's still wet on the right hand page. The journal I'm using has Tomo River paper in it, And the paint certainly does make it crinkle, but I quite like that effect, and once the journal's been inside the cover, they flatten out really well. The next thing I'm going to do is add some doodling to my flowers, and I'm using a black Staedtler pigment liner for this. And I did make sure that the paint was completely dry before starting this stage. So again, I'm just having fun with it, adding some loose lines and adding just a little bit of detail to those flowers. I really enjoy creating flowers in this way because I'm not trying to base them on anything to try and make them look realistic. I'm just doodling and having fun, usually with lines and dots for the details. The weather's been really hit and miss here in the UK so far this year, so I haven't been able to do as much in the garden as I would like. So I figured I'd just create those fun flowers in my journal instead for now. For the final flowers, I'm doodling around the outside of the blobs, leaving some white space. And I will then use a white Uniball gel pen to add some white dots to the centre. I also joined all of those blobs together to create the flower head. The next thing I'm going to do is use some stickers from this Tim Holtz Ideology sticker pack, and the words that I picked were live simply, give generously. And I've cut that strip in half, and because I want those stickers to stand out a little more, I'm going to draw a border around both of the stickers. For my final decoration, I'm going to use this Zebra Mildliner brush pen to add a border on the blank sections of my journal pages. And that's all that's left for me to do now is add my journal writing, and for this I'm using a TWSBI 580 AL fountain pen. I'm writing about all of the things that I'm grateful for, and also, if nothing else, everything that's happening at the moment is a reminder that nothing is guaranteed and we really should be making the most of every moment. I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this video and that hopefully you found it relaxing and it's given you some ideas for things to write about and create in your own journals. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope you stay safe and get lots of extra time for creativity. I look forward to speaking to you really soon in the next one.